guys, so I'm using a different screen recorder and I think the screen recorder is better, but the mic seems a little low, so I'm gonna try to talk a little louder and I hope you can hear it. But what I want to do is show you guys how to make your photos pop if that's your thing. Um, I've had a couple of people ask how to brighten the whites, and there's a way to do it in Lightroom in the tone curve. And then there's also a even better way, I think, to do it in Photoshop. And if you don't use Photoshop, I'm going to show you the simplest way ever. Like, it's not overwhelming, it's not difficult. And if you have the Adobe like $10 a month photography plan, you can download Photoshop as part of your plan. You won't have to pay any extra. So we're going to start with this. Well, actually, we're just going to use this one image. This is by Cassie Sarazin. Sorry, girl, I'm really bad with names, but okay, so we're going to start with this, and I'm going to show you. So I'm just going to put O2 on it. I'm going to give it a little contrast and pull the profile up. Okay. Now, if I wanted to brighten this up a little bit in the whites and the highlights, I wasn't going to do this because, you know, part of me is like, well, don't show the tone curve because it's part of the preset. But honestly, if you don't own these and you want to copy the tone curve, go for it. I don't care. So come to the right here in the top point, and you're going to pull that all the way up. And then you're going to come here and pull this up to the where that line sits, okay? Anything above this midpoint here is your lights, your highlights, your whites. Anything below it represents your shadows, your darks, your blacks. So that's one way you can do it in Lightroom if you don't want to mess with Photoshop. You can also just bump up your whites in Lightroom too. So let's take this back down to where it was, right about here, okay? And I'm going to show you an alternate way to do it in Photoshop. So as long as you have it downloaded, you just go to Photo, Edit In, and click Photoshop. So that is going to open the file up in Photoshop in either TIFF or I think it's DNG form. If it matters to you, you can go to Lightroom Preferences and pick either one. I think I have mine on TIFF. Okay, so I know this looks overwhelming if you've never used it, but first you're going to come up to the Window tab and make sure you have Adjustments clicked, okay? And as long as you do, you're going to see this box over here on the right. And you're going to come to the second from the left here. It looks like a little crown. You're going to click on that. This is your levels box, okay? So everything on the right here is your highlights, your white point, and everything on the left is your shadows and your black point. So what you're going to do to make your photos pop is to, here, first click that little caution button, and that'll even it out. Pull your right point all the way up to the edge of that histogram, okay? And yeah, you can totally see how it's brightening the whole image. It's not only is it brightening, it's expanding your tonal range too. And then there's not much to correct in the blacks here, but we'll pull that in just a little bit so you can see how that deepens up the blacks. Okay? I don't do this very often, but there are images that I think that this suits really well that I do this too. So I use this sometimes in Photoshop, and the other thing I do is save. I finish with a finishing action, a sharpening action, and then I save them from Photoshop. I never export from Lightroom. So I'm going to show you how to make an action that you can just click and finish, and you won't have to go through all these steps every time. Okay, so with the layers, we need to flatten our image. So come up to the same box right to the right of layers, click there, and flatten image. That's going to make it one layer again, okay? So now what we're going to do to finish is we are going to create a new action. So I'm going to click on the actions, and there's a little addition button down here. You're going to click that, okay? And that's going to bring up a new action box. So I'm going to name it Finish, although I already have a Finish action. So I'm going to name this Finish Test. And we're going to click Record. And whenever I make a new action and I click Record, I feel like I have to rush. Like it's not recording. I mean, I could sit here for hours and hours and it would only record what I intentionally do. So, okay, so the next step is to go to your filter tab up here at the top. And you're going to come down to sharpen. And then come all the way down to unsharp mask. And this is how I have mine set. You can copy those settings if you'd like, or you can play with it and see, kind of zoom in and see how much sharpening you want. So click OK, and now that's recorded in your action. The next step is to come up to image over here on the left, come down to mode, and click 8-bit. That's going to allow you to save it as a JPEG, which your clients are going to want if they're going to print anything. Now our last step is to come up to edit, come all the way down to convert to profile, and there's different profiles in here, okay, but you're going to click this sRGB IEC blah blah blah. Okay, so click that, and then we're done with that action. So we come down to this box and click on the far left the stop key. Okay, now look, it's recorded that action, so the next time I want to do this, come in and finish my photo in Photoshop, all I have to do is click the finish action, press play, and it did all those things for me in one click, okay? So that's that simple. And then I go to File. I always save as. I'm finishing up client galleries here, so that's why that's there. But I'm going to come down to File Type and click JPEG, and I'm going to save, and that's it. So I'm going to save that, and then it'll give you the quality options. Just click OK, and you're all set. So that is that, and I think that'll make a big difference for people that want to have a little more pop in their images, a little bit more like professional looking, clean contrast. And then that unsharp mask it just really does a lot, especially when you're viewing the photos from Facebook or Instagram. It just makes them look a lot more crisp. Okay, so that's it. If you have watched this far, thank you. I really appreciate you guys being here. It's so cool to have just a big group of people that all, have a similar interest, and just everybody seems like cool people. So I just appreciate you guys being here. So if you've watched this far and you have not purchased the pack and you would like to, use code PS10 for 10% off. It's just PS10. So that's it. And thank you so much for watching. And I'm all done. Okay, bye.